What's good, everybody? Welcome to your December monthly secret segment just for you, our special patrons. I'm Andrea Renee. Duh. Joined as always. Joined as always by Alexa Ray.
Also, duh.
Britt Brombacher. And Miss Steimer.
Doy.
The Doy, that's a good one. That's like the remix of Doy.
So we're all here together to talk about the holidays.
Aw.
You probably figured that this month's secret segment would have something to do with this time of year. I really love December as a month. It gives you a chance to really like reflect on everything that happened in the year, good or bad or both, and also look forward to like a fresh start in the next year. And then it's also a great time to like reconnect with the people in your life, whether it be friends or family or coworkers that you have special relationships with. And it's just like it has a lot of memories. And so we wanted to talk about not only just some holiday memories that we have, but also some holiday traditions that we like to celebrate and things that we get excited about for this time of year. So Steimer, do you have any particular memories from when you were maybe growing up or even as an adult that you look back on fondly when you get to the holidays this time of year?
So my memory is complete garbage.
Oh, no.
You mean no?
No, no.
You
I mean
your
my
ability to remember.
my ability
things is
to remember
garbage?
thing is garbage,
Okay.
not
Okay,
my
good.
memories.
The memory itself is not garbage.
That went
No,
from
no.
really cheerful
No.
to real sad.
No. But there. So like, I don't have a lot of very specific memories of like growing up and holidays, like because my family's not very religious, but we do celebrate Christmas. And it's just like, oh, okay, it's like our tiny little family of 4 people, and like we open presents, and that's kind of it. But one thing that I do remember, and I was talking about this in the car earlier, is like we would always play the CD of Twisted Christmas songs, and I have it actually up on YouTube right now because
Oh,
Wait,
God.
really?
I wanna
Wait,
play
so
one.
is it technically called Twisted
The
Christmas
album
songs?
was called Twisted Christmas, and it's just basically Christmas carols, but like messed up versions of them.
So when you say messed up, is this like not safe for work messed up?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, they're so
It's disappointing.
I was hoping it'd be some
There was-
vulgarity.
I don't remember there being vulgarity because I don't think my parents would have let us listen to it.
Yeah.
But there's one of these
Is it
songs,
like
for
Weird
instance,
Al
is called
style?
kind of.
Okay.
One of the songs was called "The Restroom Door Said Gentleman," and it's about like a man who
Like
got-
God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
okay.
that,
I'm
and
with it.
instead, and the song talks about a man who accidentally walks into the women's restroom somebody had switched the sign, and so it said gentleman. But this one that I have up here is called "We Wish You Weren't Living With Us."
Oh no. Yes,
But, like-
play it.
Okay.
I love this. How do these singers keep a straight face?
I
is what
don't
need
know,
to
but like that's sort of what all of these songs were. It's just like,
you okay?
That's just so sad.
but we
Because
thought
how
it
many
was-
people listen to that song and think, oh my God, it's me?
That's really fun.
Ouch.
But like we would play that, like that was our music that we got into the holidays with, and we would like be making cider and cookies and like listening to.
I feel
things
like that's,
this.
and don't take this the wrong way, I feel like it's very reflective upon you. Like you're very like,
I wasn't gonna say it.
I gotta say it. I love it. No. It's not a bad thing.
I mean, there's a reason I am the way I am. Part of it's because I listened to this CD growing up,
It's
and
true.
we
love
considered
it.
this our holiday music.
I'm gonna have to start
jeez.
playing that. That's real funny.
It is funny.
That's super funny.
Alexa Ray, do you have a particular tradition that you and your family celebrate, or maybe you have a memory of you with your bros or with Gina, the ghost hunter?
Gina, my mom is a ghost hunter.
there a
surprise.
holiday ghost?
So there probably is one. Probably. So my family tradition, I come from a very large Italian family. So our tradition is we just eat
Oh yeah, that's a great tradition.
And when I finally, we have like 5-course dinners. We do like, bless you.
Excuse me.
We do like the antipasto and then like the pre-appetizer and then like the appetizer and then like the main course, and like every Christmas day we do steak and lobster.
Shot.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we just and now that I'm old enough to drink and my older cousin is old enough to drink, well, most of the children in my family are old enough to drink with the exception of one. But the first holiday that I was allowed to drink, I was not 21. I will not tell you how old I was. But my whole family, except for my father and I, went to church because we are not religious. And we were at home, and my dad was just like, we were sitting under the Christmas tree, and he had his scotch on the rocks, which is what he drinks. And we're like listening to Christmas music and hanging out and like making sure the ovens are going and the food will be ready. And he looks at me and he's like, I'm going to make you a Cosmo.
Oh.
So my dad is a really great like bartender. So he made me this amazing Cosmopolitan, and then I had like 10.
Like
What?
literally.
So by
What?
the time,
It got you drunk.
I got super duper tipsy, and my dad thought this was the funniest thing. So by the time everyone came back from church, I'm like skipping around the house, being like, "It's Christmas!" And I'm like, got my martini glass. My mother was like, "Ray," it's my father's name. "Ray, what did you do?" And he's like, "It's Christmas," and she's almost 21. So now Christmas is like we just drink and eat, and we all kind of like run around the house. A Christmas tradition, sort of, I guess you can call it a tradition / memory. Of mine, sort of explains a little bit. So I was less weird as a child. I'm a little weirder now.
Yeah.
When I was, and I feel like this contributed to it. So you all know I like puppets.
Mm-hmm.
Puppets are like my thing.
Yeah. Yes.
So when I was 9 years old, my mother had these really old. She had these. There were 3 of them. These 3 very old nutcrackers that were made like when before she was a child, like they were her mother's nutcrackers. They were made in the old world. I don't know. There was some story with them, and there were 3 of them, and they were like old and a little chipped, and they were ancient. My mom had them up on the shelf above our mantle, and she was like, "Alexa Ray, do not play with the nutcrackers. They are decoration. They are not toys."
So of course the
What
first
did
thing
I
you
do?
did.
Grab.
What
them.
did I do? But I was 8 years old, so at this point I had lived, I was 9. I had lived 8 or 9 years of my life seeing these nutcrackers every year.
And never really caring about them, right?
No, I wanted to desperately to play with them.
Oh, okay.
I was the kid that like every time my mother would buy like a jar of the Mrs. Butterworth syrup, which is shaped like a woman, I would like play with it and inevitably break it.
Oh, hello.
Because it was like,
I'm
it's
Mrs.
a doll.
Butterworth.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I'm gonna play with
I
it.
have never heard of anyone doing that.
Me and my little brothers did it.
It makes sense.
We broke several bottles. My mother was not happy. I would like play with inanimate objects. Like I'd make her talk to the cans, and it was I don't know. I could make a game out of anything.
You're
But I
creative.
wanted these nutcrackers. I wanted these nutcrackers so bad. So when I was 9, my mom was like, she had to leave to go help my grandmother and my grandfather pack up some of the food that they had made and bring it over to our house for Christmas Eve, because we always host Christmas Eve. My dad is like doing his thing because he did not police me, as he probably should have. And I was 9, so my youngest brother was 4, and he's like in the kitchen watching like Barney's Christmas or something. And my youngest brother is still incubating in my mother, so it's just me on my own, wandering around my house, and I'm like, I'm gonna play with these freaking nutcrackers because nobody's watching me. So I pulled one down, and I was like, I'm like holding it. It's made of wood. It's like this big, and I'm like, whoa! And like I had watched like all those weird film adaptations of the Nutcracker. I'd seen the ballet. I was really like into it. I'm like, that's so cool. And I'm like, these are really interesting and weird. And like I'm playing with them, and I'm like, well, they're nutcrackers. They're supposed to crack nuts,
Let's
right?
go find some nuts.
Oh.
No, they're not really though.
So I could
Are
not.
they really?
They're
I mean,
not. They're not.
There
Not
are
now.
certain
I didn't
types
know
of
that.
nutcrackers that are like reinforced, and so they can actually physically crack nuts. But
Right.
most of the time, the nutcrackers are just purely decorative.
They yeah.
Good to know.
So this
Like
was not
decorative
one of
Before I
those.
candles that
break
you're
somebody
not really
else's
supposed to
nutcracker.
burn, right? Yeah.
So I have this nutcracker, and I can't like find like we don't have any like walnuts. We don't have any like big nuts. And I'm
You
like,
don't
what am I
have
gonna
any
do?
shelled nuts?
No, so my dad has like a jar of like Planters peanuts in the cabinet, and I'm like, I'm gonna see if he can crack nuts. I'm just gonna test the theory out because I want to see this happen.
But they were just peanuts.
I didn't even get that far.
Oh.
So I took the peanuts out of the cabinet, I put them in his mouth, I grabbed the handle, and I went to like crush them. And for some reason, it was like the universe was like, fuck you, Alexa Ray. the handle just snapped off in my hand. So the way that a nutcracker works is it's two pieces of wood. It's the wood of the body and then the wood of the mouth. And the lower lip of the mouth is attached to this lever behind the nutcracker. So when you lift it up, the mouth opens. And when you push it back in towards the body, it closes. I lifted it up and this block of wood melted like butter in my hand and snapped.
You just Incredible Hulked on it.
So
I hulked it. I hulked this nutcracker. So I'm
what
standing
was
there.
going through your mind?
I panicked. Like the bottom dropped out of my stomach. My heart started racing. I'm like, my mother is going to murder me. My dad won't care, but I'm like, my mother's gonna kill me because I had a long
She's gonna kill me
history.
on Christmas.
I had a long history of breaking things in the house and then having to hide it because my mom
I
was
believe
very
this.
tired of me
As
breaking
knowing
things.
you as an adult, this makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
So
Very true.
I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I like put it, I kind of like try to put it back where it is and like put it on the shelf. I like took like I found masking tape and I made like a loop
Yes.
and like stuck it in and
Yes.
like, tried to like leave it alone. And so I'm like,
You're
I'm like, oh my God,
MacGyvering
oh my
it,
God, oh my
hoping
God.
she wouldn't see.
And I mean, it's a piece of wood. So like within 5 minutes, as we're waiting for my mother to come back and my father's wandering the house, the thing falls. And my dad's like, what was that? So he goes into the room and he's like, did you touch this? And I'm just like, please don't tell mom. And he's like, she's gotta know it was you. You've been eyeing these for like for years. And I'm like,
I just gotta
shit.
know it was you.
And I'm in my little Christmas dress with my little Christmas bow, little 9-year-old me, and I'm like, shit. So my mother came home.
Please tell me you said shit. That would be the
I
best.
wish I did. My mother came home and my dad was like, my dad, not missing a beat, is like, Alexa broke the nutcracker.
Oh no!
Just threw
Out
it
under the
right
bus.
there.
You
Out
knew
of
he
me
wasn't
right
gonna
there.
take
And
the
my
fall
mother,
for you.
And my mother's like, and she's like, because it's Christmas, and my mom's like, and it's like in front of my wonderful grandparents, my mother's parents. My grandfather immediately burst into laughter because this like me wanting to break all the things is like a joke in my house. So my grandfather starts laughing. My grandmother is like, Alexa, you've got to get your shit together, or whatever you tell a 9-year-old. And my mother is like, well, like it's broken, like that's fine, like we'll fix it. So my mom goes to find like super glue or something, and my family starts coming in. They're setting it for Christmas, and I'm sitting in my living room in front of our fireplace with the fire in it, and I'm holding this nutcracker and I'm looking at it and I'm like,
Don't tell me you did it. You
No.
didn't throw it in the fire.
No,
did
I
you?
didn't.
Oh my god!
Okay, that's
No,
what I was like.
no, I
that's how I
didn't.
thought this was going.
no,
Goodbye
but
forever.
like the light is like goodbye forever, but the light's like playing over its face, and I look at him, and something inside me like clicks, and I'm just like, I have hurt you. I feel awful. And then like a crazy woman in a weird sci-fi movie, I started collecting them.
Really?
Because I broke that one nutcracker, I was like, I must have all of you together all the time.
And I will
have-
not break you this time.
I
Maybe.
am 29. I have 37 nutcrackers.
Whoa.
They all live at my parents' house. I like specialty shop for them every year. I like go looking for them. I have a Gandalf nutcracker that I found somewhere.
Why are they at your parents' house?
I
Why did you
have
bring
a-
some of them here?
I have a snow queen.
to live
I have
together
a
with the
king. I have
old
one that like
nutcrackers.
marches. I have like an animal. I have 2 snowmen. I have all these like drummers, just all these drummers. And every year, and my mom stopped when I moved out of the house. My mom stopped taking them all down. And every time I go home for Christmas, I'm like, why aren't they all down here?
Where are my nutcrackers?
Where are they?
She's like, it would take me a wheelbarrow. Like,
They have
like, just
they have their own boxes. Everything is stored in our attic. So I pull down like the latch and go up into my creepy attic where the ghosts are probably. And I have these special boxes that just say they're big plastic tubs. And in my mom's like I don't give a shit anymore handwriting just says Alexa nutcrackers. And it's like these big boxes, and I take them down and I've like carefully wrapped them from the year before, and I take them out and I set them up, and there's like an order for that. I'm a crazy lady.
But wouldn't your mom like appreciate that you now collect nutcrackers because she liked those
no,
nutcrackers?
because she has to
No,
store
because now
them
they're all in her house. Because I have an apartment and an easily creeped out roommate. I can't bring them all here. I have 30.
Well, you don't need to bring them all. Maybe
you
just
could
bring
bring,
a
like, some.
selection.
Maybe
Yeah.
next year I will, because I've moved around a lot in the past couple of years. But now I have this like crazy lady collection of nutcrackers, and I go home and I like, when I'm home for the holidays, I'll like switch a position. I'll like turn them. Like I like to sit in my parents' like really pristine living room where we have like the couch and the dining table and our fireplace and the mantle, and I just like to look at all of them. But this all happened because I broke one, and I was like,
You had to make right.
I will make you a family to make up for this.
I mean, I'm
Wow.
sure
Did-
Andrea will happily store your nutcrackers here.
That was my.
Oh my god,
I don't
she's
know.
gonna kill you.
There's so
Brittany.
many. No.
She's gonna straight up lunge
You
across
guys,
the
I
couch and murder
mean,
you.
I have a little bit of space. I don't have 37
No.
nutcrackers.
My mom
worth
is
of
like,
space.
my mom is like, can we give some of these away? And I'm like, no.
Oh.
How
Do they-
dare you?
Do the old nutcrackers still come out?
All of them come out. My mother gave
Aw.
me those 3, including the broken
Oh, she
one. They're
gave you
now
them.
mine. And I have those old nutcrackers plus some older ones that I found at like a weird like store. And I just have this like, they're just rows. They're just everywhere. And they all have these, if you've seen a nutcracker, it's like this big, just these teeth out and these like big eyes and they just stare at you.
They
It's
do.
incredibly
They stare
creepy.
I
into
like
your
nutcrackers
soul.
myself. I have 3,
They're my,
but they came from my mom.
they're my family.
They're nice. That's
And that's my creepy, weird memory / holiday tradition.
That is an interesting thing that I did not anticipate happening during this
I
conversation.
mean, I'm into
No.
puppets. I feel like this wouldn't have surprised
You
anybody.
know, now
That's
that you
true.
say that, it does make a lot more sense. Britt,
yeah.
we've talked previously about your obsession with Halloween and Halloween decorations in Halloween Town. Does that also extend to a holiday? Do you
Oh,
have
yeah.
a bunch of like Christmas gear?
Oh yeah. So I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year, so I can't put out my Christmas stuff until after
come
Thanksgiving.
On. Oh, come
No,
on.
Says who?
No, it's really cute in there. I have a bunch of like fall like garland and like lights, so it looks really, really cute. It looks really warm and fuzzy. But yes, I have the Christmas villages. That's like twice the size of my Halloween collection, which is really, really
How
nice.
is that possible?
I've been
Your
collecting-
dog was drowning in Halloween
was.
things.
I've been collecting these for like 6 years now, so it's like the collection has slowly grown over time. I can't say I have any specific like memories like your Nutcracker memory, which is amazing, but I just like the little traditions, like the little things that you look back on and you're like, oh, that makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah,
Like the night before Christmas, we would put cookies out and milk for Santa, and we would also put carrots out. And my dad would always like eat half of them and then say like the reindeer, we had to feed the reindeer. That was always
That's
really cute.
One year, we got a note from Santa saying, Santa's on a diet this year, but thanks.
Oh my god. How did you guys all
It was I believe it was I'm not throwing you under the bus, Mom, I swear to God, but I believe it was the Christmas after she had my last brother.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
So,
hilarious.
Santa was mysteriously on a diet and all the carrots were gone.
What how did you
Ma.
guys find out that there was no Santa Claus?
I had a conversation
Oh.
with my dad. I think I don't know how old I was. Like my first hint, you see, I thought I was a very smart elementary school student. I was in 3rd grade and I looked up Santa in the dictionary
No.
and it said he was a myth. And I was like, ha. And then my friend who like refused to believe the truth was like, oh, a myth means it's real. That's what a myth means. Then we proceeded to look up a
But
myth.
you're like, I was about to say you could just look up the word myth.
And then she
So
cried all
science
recess.
ruined Christmas for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But even then, I was like, okay, gullible elementary school kid. I guess I wasn't that smart. When I was older, I don't know how old I was. I was in the car with my dad, and we were driving. I remember this very vividly. And I was like, I gotta ask. I was like, how come you and Mom never get me any Christmas presents? They're always from Santa. And he's like, what are you talking about? We get you so many Christmas presents. I'm like, oh yeah, you're Santa. And he's like, yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, caught
You
him
tricked
I was
red
like,
him.
handed.
And I mean, before that, like,
Wait, they didn't give you some from them and then some from Santa? They gave you all from Santa?
all are from Santa. Yeah.
We were always taught that like parents don't get kids gift because we put a roof over your head
Oh,
and
no.
feed you.
Oh.
No,
So we
ours-
don't get gifts from our
we had-
parents.
Okay.
We had the mix. Like they would like write some from Mom and Dad and then some from Santa
No.
that would
Yeah,
come the
we-
night of Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Like they would put those ones out.
Yeah, we never got gifts from Santa. We only got a stocking, like with stocking stuffers from Santa.
Oh, girl.
That
I
makes
caught
sense.
I caught my dad one year. So my parents got divorced when I was 1, so I've always done the split Christmas. Thankfully, both my parents lived in the same town when I was growing up all the way through high school. And so Christmas Eve was always a tradition where I would get together with my mom's family, so my cousins, aunts, and uncles on my mom's side of the family. And then after that celebration, she would take us to our dad's house and drop us off, and we would spend the night at my dad's and have Christmas morning with my dad. So my dad was always kind of responsible for like doing like the Christmas morning stocking thing. My mom still gave us stockings like on Christmas Eve, but we obviously knew it was from like gifts from her. But when we were still kids, like, you know, Christmas morning is like we all have those kind of fond, like fuzzy memories of what Christmas morning means to you if you celebrate the holiday of Christmas. But there was one year where my dad lived in a house that was a split level, which is a very popular style in the Midwest, where you walk in a ground level, there's immediately a staircase, usually with some kind of overlooking loft living family area space, and then there's like some bedrooms, and then it splits down to a basement which has another like general like bedrooms or family area space, and then like the ground level has like the kitchen. And so what happened was my grandmother was staying with us, and so my dad said, well, grandma's going to sleep in your room and you're going to sleep on the pull-out couch. And the problem with though is that the pull-out couch was right by the Christmas tree. So I was sleeping on it, and we put out the cookies for Santa, like so many of us did, and we were all excited and going to bed. And I'm the lightest sleeper. I wake up at like the smallest like gust of wind, and I'm awake. And so I heard some rustling, and I kind of like looked around. And I saw our little poodle. We had a toy poodle. Her name was Misty. She was adorable. And I was like, oh, it's just Misty. It's fine. And so I like went back to bed. And then like I heard some more like movement. And I'm like, what's happening? So I like looked around again. But mind you, it's like dark. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can like see my dad crouched in the corner, trying to hide so that I don't see him like stuffing the stockings.
Oh.
And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, just go along with it, Andrea. Just go back to bed. Don't call him out. So I did. I was like, oh, come here, Misty. And then like the dog like runs up and like lays with me, and then I just go back to bed.
Aw.
And then I just play dumb like while he's like putting the gifts like by the tree or whatever.
That's really sweet though.
Yeah, my dad is the best. So it was always really fun doing Christmas. And while sometimes you can look at situations like divorce where the families are split, and the holidays can be really tough for a lot of kids and a lot of parents too. I felt very fortunate that my parents always went like above and beyond to make the holiday special for us, even though it was this really weird thing where we didn't get to spend it with both of our parents. But definitely still like really great memories. And my grandmother always does this spread, and she does to this day, my grandmother on my mother's side, where she puts out like 12 different kinds of baked goods.
Oh.
It's just like this giant
That sounds really good.
smorgasbord of like kroomkake, which is a Norwegian cake, or it's a Norwegian like biscuit type dessert. She would do divinity. She would do 7-layer
Sin.
bars, molasses
Oh my
cookies, gingerbread snaps, the peanut butter cookies with the kiss in the middle.
Oh, those are so good.
So good.
I mean, like homemade fudge was so good. If you haven't had a piece of kroomkake with whipped cream in the middle, I feel like I need to make this now.
Please do.
You? Yeah, that'd be
Because
great.
like
I've never
you're
heard of
talking
that
it up,
recipe.
and now I want to eat it.
I don't have a press. It has a specific type of press that you use, but I could ask her if there's a way for me to finagle this. But she also like makes her sugar cookies in a way, like how you have that person in your life, whether it be a grandparent or a parent or maybe a friend who has like a recipe that you love, you know exactly what it tastes like, and every time you bite into it, like it tastes exactly the same every time.
Yes.
Her Christmas cookies were that way. Like even today, I'm like, I don't know if she's using the exact same brand of everything. And she of course doesn't pull out a single measuring cup. She eyeballs it all. And they always are my favorite thing.
Oh, that's
That
so
sounds
sweet.
good.
My
Yeah.
mom always does Christmas cookies too, and I feel like when even to this day, I'll just go over there just to hang out and watch her make cookies because it's like that warm and fuzzy inducing feeling. It's like once like the cookies are being made, the holidays are like really on. Like
We actually didn't do cookies. We would do pie.
pie's
Oh, really?
great.
Yeah, we would bake a pie. And I remember one year my sister grabbed salt instead of sugar.
Oh no.
No.
And she
Of course she did. She's
She-
related to you.
I know, right? She didn't mean this was not like her pranking me, which could have happened because we fought a lot when we were growing up. But like, she was like, something tastes off on this. Like, taste it. Like, taste the filling before. Like, this was before we weren't baking it yet. It was like when you've got all the stuff mixed up. And I bit into this apple, and I immediately wanted to throw up.
Oh.
I was just like, what did you do? And she was like, what? I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever tasted. Like, what is this?
Oh no.
And so I was like, Dad, come here and taste. Like that thing where you're like, this is awful. You try it. That
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And then he was like, you did what your grandmother did, and you put salt in here instead of sugar.
Also, he knew immediately.
He knew immediately because, funnily enough, my grandma or my great grandma Thrasher had accidentally done that at one
Wait,
point.
Stop.
wait.
Your grandmother's name was
Thrasher?
Thrasher?
Yeah,
That's
Wait, like
so
her
amazing.
first name, last name?
no last name.
That is
Thrasher.
That is the best.
It really is. My well, never mind. But yeah.
Yeah.
So that she had baked a pie, but she like presented it like it was. She didn't taste it before she gave it, like put it on the table, and so ended up serving this pie,
That's
and someone bit
amazing.
into it and was like, "What?" And she tried it, and she was like, and she was horrified and like took the pie off the table and ran away.
Oh man!
But it's just funny that like it came full circle, and then my sister did it too.
Damn. I'm kind of curious to see what that would taste like.
It's not good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not great.
It's really not.
Man, I think about like traditions that I have as like, an adult, because I think obviously we all look back on when we were kids, because so many of your traditions get established by your parents, the people that you grow up with. And I don't know if I've ever created something as an adult. Do you guys have any like adult traditions that you like? I guess there's one thing that I do where I and you guys are gonna help me with it this year, where I unbox all of my ornaments. So my mom gives me and my sister a new Christmas ornament every year, and all of my ornaments, once I show you my collection, they're all labeled by which year I got them, all the way back to, I think the first one I got was either 1989 or 1991, somewhere in that range, like when I was still pretty young is when she started giving us ornaments. And so I have this like collection that I get to unbox and like remember like all of the different ornaments I got over the years of my life.
Yeah, I have a family member who does the same thing. From the year I was born in '88, she's given us a new ornament every single year, and it's fun. And I also like to unbox the ornaments because they're all hand-me-downs. So the same ornaments on my tree were the ones I remember hanging when I was little. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, new ornaments are fine. There's nothing against them. But for me, like, there's something super nostalgic and warm and fuzzy again about hanging ornaments that have been in your life. It's just,
No, sorry, go ahead, Alexa.
We have ornaments that have been in my family for over 100 years.
What?
Wow.
Up on my mother's tree.
I would be afraid to hang them.
They belonged to my mother's mother. Got them from her mother's mother, and they are old and they are delicate, and they're like those old.
And you
like,
managed to not break these?
Well, we've broken a lot of them, and
Okay.
I broke many, but we have like several boxes of these, and they're like shaped like these drops with these like crazy patterns on them, and then they're bulbs with like swirls on them and stuff, and they're just they like you look at them on our tree next to like all the kooky shit we've bought in like recent years, and you can just tell like they are from a different era.
Yeah.
And we used to have a live Christmas tree every year. So we would have
that
these on like
smell.
this live tree. We don't do the live tree anymore. My dad actually built in my house. He built the addition onto our house with like his friends, and he built, and it's like 3 feet off of the actual level of the ground on our property. And he actually built a door into the side of our house that drops 3 feet specifically to get rid of the Christmas tree every year.
oh, wow.
So we have this, yeah. So we used to have a live tree every year, and we have a random Christmas tree door. And then a couple of years ago, my mom was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore with the pine needles.
Right.
So now we have a giant fake tree. But like the look of like those old ornaments on like a real tree is just like, you feel like you're in another time period.
Oh, I'd
It's
love to see a
crazy.
picture of the tree.
I'll find one.
Send one.
I will find one.
Technically have a tree up all year, but it's in the basement because it's also a fake tree.
Wait, you never take it down?
Well, no, you take it from upstairs and put it down in the basement where no one looks at
You don't
it.
pack it up?
No.
That's crazy.
I mean, my parents' house is stupidly big. Like they don't need that much space. So yeah.
it just sits in a room that
Just
nobody goes
sits-
in all
I mean,
year.
you
That's
go
what I'm saying.
downstairs, but like
Yeah.
it's just like there's the Christmas tree.
Hanging out in the corner.
I mean, I think it's just less. I don't know why. I think it's just easier to like pick it up and grab it and put it upstairs that way versus putting it in a box.
Or, build a house, it's a door into your house to get rid of it
I mean,
everywhere.
my
That's
dad,
next level.
Yeah.
It really is.
My dad is like the holiday master.
my dad built
It was
our
so
house,
funny.
but he did not build it with a Christmas door in mind.
We have a Christmas tree. And now we have
Failed.
a fake tree. So now we have this random door in our living room that opens onto a drop into our backyard.
That's
And all my friends
is
are
this
like,
made
what is
for?
the, they're like, what is this door for? And I'm
Body
like,
disposal
it
chute
used to be the Christmas tree door. Now it's just a door.
that leads to nowhere.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
weird.
gosh.
It's really weird.
That's interesting. Well, ladies, this has been a fun conversation. We hope that you guys enjoyed our little chat about some holiday traditions and holiday memories. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment below. Let us know if you have a favorite holiday tradition or memory. If you are watching this or listening to this on Patreon, go ahead and jump in the comments. Let us know your favorites. We can share our holiday memories together. And we hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for watching.